Hello all and welcome, and I am the MGTOW philosopher. And in this video, I would like to talk about an article I came across in the Toronto Metro. And I thought I'd like to give you all a little window into the feminist paradise that is Canada, being run by a Chad, good-looking former ski instructor. Isn't he so dreamy? Yeah, that liberal paradise that is Canada, yeah. And in this article, we men need to grow up and not avoid women. Yeah, the answer is to grow up, men. Don't avoid women. Okay. So, typical shaming language. So it begins by saying, with the Harvey Weinstein sexual harassment scandal, it's absurd. There have been warnings telling men to avoid office parties or just women in general. Yeah, all these women running around about how they were harassed when they weren't actually harassed. And men are talking about avoiding women, else they might get accused of sexual harassment or sexual assault. Yeah, geez, that is just so irrational. Yeah. Yeah. Calling all men. In the wake of the Harvey Weinstein sexual harassment and alleged sexual assault scandal. Now, why doesn't it say alleged sexual harassment? Okay, why didn't it say that? You know why? Because sexual harassment is such an open-ended, generalized term now that it's just open interpretation. Well, whatever you feel is harassing to you, while sexual assault has a much more specific definition. Still, the leftists haven't managed to muddy the waters to the point where it's as general, vague, and non-specific as sexual harassment is. But they're getting there. Give them time, and the resultant tsunami of further allegations against prominent men. Notice no allegations against prominent women, because, of course, only women can be victims. I'm sure there's no men out there who have been sexually harassed or assaulted by women in power. Oh, no! Oh, but the difference is we don't complain about it like big babies. Oh, you want to give me $20 million for a movie role, and all I got to do is bang you, lady? Okay. Yeah, geez, that would be real tough. Yeah, that's a real burden. I'm a real victim there. Oh, I love this. Look at this. Here are your new instructions. You gotta love it. The men in Canada are like Pavlov's dog. They're like Pavlov's dog. Just ring a bell, and the dog is gonna do whatever you tell it to do. Here you go, doggy. I'm gonna tell you what to do, and you do it. Here are your instructions, you stupid puppet men that we control with such ease because you're all such brain-dead zombie morons because we've indoctrinated you with toxic femininity and toxic feminism. Cancel the office holiday party. It could lead to flirting. Right, but yeah, and that's a problem, isn't it? Because don't feminists say they don't like flirting? They don't want flirting. They don't want that evil man gaze, that gaze rape, unless he's hot and looks like Brad Pitt, of course. Rethink one-on-one business meetings off-site with women colleagues. You never know when one of them will claim you behaved inappropriately. Yeah. Recent numbers coming out about false rape accusations have found as many as 41% of them are false. That's a hell of a lot of women going out of their way to destroy men for whatever reason. Yeah, I think I'm going to go out of my way to avoid being alone with women in business situations that are my work colleagues. Yeah, good idea. Goes on to say, don't smile at women on the street or offer any observation that could be misconstrued. What is it with these mixed messages? First, we're seeing all these new laws passed in all these European countries that make it illegal to harass a woman, whatever that means. You walk up to her and say, hello, how are you? Ah, you evil man, you're harassing me, police. I mean, yeah, they're making that illegal, but now we're supposed to just, oh, no. We're going to ignore that, and we're going to risk getting arrested. We're going to risk getting labeled a sexual assaulter, a sexual harasser. We're going to take these mounting risks that you feminist idiots are imposing on us, because now you're telling... I love it. First, the feminists tell us one thing, don't do these things. And now that all of a sudden there's actually a consequence that these women are now not getting approached by men. It's like, We're starting to lose our power. What can we do? Okay, we're going to tell men that it's all overblown. There's no real risk of getting labeled a creepy scumbag or possibly getting arrested or fined, charged with harassment. We're going to tell them that the risk, that the possible ramifications of approaching a woman, which we wanted them not to do, well, now we want them to do it because they're not approaching us anymore. I said, make up your freaking mind, ladies. Either you don't want us to come up to you on the street and bother you, or you want us to come up on the street and bother you. Oh, I see. You want to have the possibility of a consequence that you can impose against us, thereby have more power over us. But at the same time, you're going to shame us and tell us that we should take the risk anyway, so you want to have it both ways. Oh, I see. How interesting. Don't smile at a woman on the street. This whole article is made to be ironical, and it's saying the exact opposite of what they believe you should do. They're trying to make light of what men believe to be real risks, and try to cast it in a humorous light that men have this belief that there's some risk to doing this, while the media has been lambasting men for years for doing these very things. Avoid unknown and even known women. Too dangerous. Oh, yeah, women are too dangerous. Yeah, aren't you just so funny and sarcastic? You idiots. They are dangerous, you pinhead. You know how many men are rotting in jail for false rape allegations? Jesus Christ. You gotta love it. You gotta love it, don't you? Women, they think they know what they want. Oh, I'm getting tired of going out on the street every day and men approaching me and bothering me. I just want to be left alone. And then they get left alone and it's like, why is everybody leaving me alone? But they don't want to give up their power. They don't want to admit they made a mistake. They just sort of say, oh, no, there's no real risk. That never happened. The media hasn't been shaming men forever about doing these perfectly normal things to try and stop them from doing them. Oh, no, that's not been happening. Go ahead and start doing them again. And, if we like you, fine. If we don't, we're still going to throw you in jail. or we're going to charge you with harassment and you're going to ticket and a fine or something. Yeah, okay. And listen, if you come across a female accident victim and you're a man, think twice about doing CPR because you may have to touch her chest. And what if she takes it the wrong way? Now, this is just absurdity, okay? They're really trying to make fun of men's concerns to the extreme. I can't think of very many people who, if they knew CPR and saw some woman in an accident, wouldn't perform CPR on her. What man out there is, there's Good Samaritan laws, by the way, that protect men from possible negative consequences. If you try to help someone as a Good Samaritan, like you give them CPR and you break a rib or two, there's Good Samaritan laws that stop that person whose life you saved from then being able to turn around and sue you for breaking their bones. And I would think the same kind of thing would apply with sexual assault. They can't charge you with a crime if in the course of trying to help them you got hurt. And yeah, you might have touched a breast. They can't do that. And of course, they're just elevating our concerns to a level of absurdity, try and make it look like all our concerns are absurd, when they're not. Media spent years and years shaming men for this stuff, and they've actually implemented laws in countries like Canada and France that make it illegal to whistle at a woman or even talk to her, because if she identifies it, if she feels it's harassing, well, then her subjective reality is what's important, and she can get you arrested, get you fined. Oh, but just ignore that. Oh, no, it's not a real threat. It's not a real possible consequence. Oh, no, we want you men to come back. We want you men to come back and bother us again. Oh, but we want to keep the power of the possible consequence. We want to keep the power of the possible anvil that's hanging over your head, like one of those old, what was it, the Bugs Bunny cartoons or whatever, or the, what was it, that cartoon? You had the Roadrunner and all, and the freaking anvils dropping out of the sky. Yeah, we want to hold that 200, 300-pound anvil over your head, that possible consequence. But at the same time, we want you to come and stand under that anvil and take the risk of us dropping it on you if we don't like you or think you're hot enough to hit on us. Yeah, no thank you. I'm not falling for that trap. And here we go. It's just what I said. These are just some of the absurdio ad reductum warnings. I love love it. This person's trying to sound clever. Oh, boy, you're not clever. That have popped up recently. Yeah, absurd warnings, they're not absurd at all. They're not absurd at all. They're a natural outgrowth of the man hate and the passing of anti-male laws to restrict normal male behavior. What do you think would happen, ladies? What you think? Men wouldn't get wise and stop approaching you, and now it's far less likely that you're going to find that human wallet. So now you're trying to get men, lure them back, but you still want to leave that possible threat hanging over their head. Yeah, pass. The Office Party Dilemma, one in a New York Times article, since the explosive allegations last month against powerful Hollywood producer Weinstein have led to the great sexual harassment reckoning. What are you talking about? Great sexual. There's no great sexual harassment a culture going on in America. He's one guy. This is just like anything else. This is a victim stampede. Bunch of women come out attacking Harvey Weinstein, say he harassed me, and all of a sudden, all these other women come out of the woodwork saying they've been sexually harassed by Weinstein. How many women are coming out of the woodwork in America saying they were harassed? Nobody. Just a handful of women in Hollywood. It's just the media that's taking this and blowing it up and making the statement that this is the whole world doing this stuff. They do this every time there's a mass shooting, every time there's some kind of horrible crime where a lot of people die. Whenever there's something sensationalistic, they never miss an opportunity to politicize it and attack men. And you're surprised. That's a perfect example of what's being talked about when men tell each other, be careful, because this might happen, that might happen. This hysteria around Harvey Weinstein and the media turning it into this mountain when there's nothing but a tiny molehill of one guy is a perfect example of what women, the media, society are doing to men. And yet we're supposed to continue with as if it was business as usual. Yeah, because men in the past have just sat back and taken all this crap. Yeah, they're taking all our rights. They're taking everything we have, and they're taking over, and now we're second-class citizens. But I still got my beer, and I can watch ESPN, so I'm fine. Well, men are being shaken out of their apathy, and they're starting to react, and you in the media just don't like it, do you? And by the way, what does this have to do with anything? Is this an article about men adopting what are ridiculous, absurd views about approaching women, or is this about Harvey Weinstein? Make up your mind. Let's continue. Maybe this goes somewhere and has a point that combines the two. Witness the swift dispensing of Weinstein in a matter of days after the New York Times and the New Yorker magazine revealed decades of well-documented by who? What do you mean well-documented? Just a bunch of women that came forward with anecdotal accounts of that something happened. Oh, wait, well-documented. Is it on tape? What is this well-documented? Did the guy have a dictation? Somebody come in and do dictation while he was getting a blowjob? What are you talking about, well-documented? It's just a bunch of women. One woman said he did this, and then a bunch of other women who heard what the one woman said come forward and say the same goddamn thing. We call that copycatting, okay, for the purpose of virtue signaling, well-documented predatory behavior toward a number of women, some of whom are now high-wattage stars. You know what? You want to know why they're high-wattage stars? Because they blew Harvey Weinstein, okay? And they shouldn't be complaining. If I had to go down on some nasty old lady's cooch to get a $20 million paycheck, and I became a high-wattage star because of it, I wouldn't be crying my eyes out and complaining. These women are so pathetically fragile and entitled. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, I had to do something I didn't want to do. Oh, he lost his company, his marriage, his reputation. Maybe he will lose his freedom if there's enough to prosecute him and rape accusations. Yeah, even though he didn't rape anybody. You want to concoct enough BS in the media so that it can seem like well, where did he rape anybody? So far, all you have is a lot of he said, she said, with some woman coming out to the media and then everybody else trying to parrot her, and that's it. I mean, you don't even have that. You have a bunch of women come forward and say, oh, he actually harassed me. Oh, he didn't. They're not being specific. What did he do? Mean sexually harassed. And he tried to initiate something with me and maybe grabbed me or something, and I stopped him. Or he came out of a bathroom naked or something, and I left the room. I mean, come on. Yeah, that would be considered sexually harassing, but that's not a sexual assault, and certainly far from rape. And by the way, many of these women acquiesced. You know, they had a choice. They had a choice. They didn't have to take a job that paid $20 million, did they? That was their choice, and they made it. So what's the problem? What's the problem? Oh, no woman should have to do that to get a job. What do you think you're living? What do you think this... This is the bizarro universe. Everything's the opposite. Up is down, left is right, black is white. And you don't have to do stuff to make lots of money. Oh, I see. I don't have to do anything distasteful to get jobs that pay $20, $30 million a year. Okay. Heed the fact that many women, some men, emboldened by the Me Too hashtag. Yeah, because they wanted to be famous. They wanted to join the victim club, and they wanted attention. Have begun naming and shaming their harassers everywhere. Pathetic losers who essentially took the tiniest little incident and blew it up into something it was not, in many cases fabricating and adding on to something minor that happened that wouldn't even be considered sexual harassment. Those named and accused, some apologizing, some denying. Yeah, because you know when somebody denies something, that means they did it, of course. Are losing jobs, empires. It's not real hard to lose your job these days. I mean, let's be honest here. You say the wrong thing, you think the wrong thing, you express the wrong thing, you'll go against the politically correct Chairman Mao PC party line, and you gotta go. Corporate sponsorships, reputations in the support of decent people. Well, they lost their job, so they must be guilty, right? Because nobody would lose their job if they hadn't done something wrong, right? It's very interesting logic. It's remarkable, really, what women have known and put up with forever. No, we do not have a culture of rape. We do not have a culture that sexually harasses women. Okay? You got a bunch of people searching for attention, looking to become victims, who've played up little shit that happened. Some guy tried to steal a kiss in a janitor's closet at a Christmas party. Somebody else might have patted some chick's ass, or he made a run into her, and she thought that he grabbed her purposely, and then 10, 15 years later, this woman's going to blow it up into something it wasn't, all because they want attention, because victimhood is virtue in today's society. Of course. Frightening report that they might lose their jobs, reputation if they did. Where is that happening? Where are women losing their jobs? What are you talking about? Where are women losing their jobs if they've been sexually harassed and they report it? Are you kidding me? It's the other way around. This is like pre-1980s talk here. This is not now. This is the past they're talking about. Has turned a cultural corner and morphed from a you can't name this to you can't name them all. There are so many. BS. Total BS. This is just this is just the media taking some pinheads on Twitter and anywhere else on social media and taking anecdotal arguments from anonymous people posting anonymously, people making spurious claims, 20, 30 years old, he said, she said stuff, and trying to incorporate the always believe her narrative, because women would never lie about anything, and then trying to blow it up and say, it's an epidemic! Yeah, everything's an epidemic with the media. Unless it's something on the right and it's something good, then it's an isolated incident, of course. In fact, I would have no space for anything else if I did name them all. Kevin Spacey, what? Well, didn't Kevin Spacey sexually harass a boy or a man or a teenager or some 14-year-old kid? I thought this was about women, not gay guys that are harassing teenage boys. Louis C. Wait. Aren't all these people, by the way, aren't all these people that they're naming celebrities? And of course, we will acknowledge that Hollywood has, I love it. So, because Hollywood has a big problem with harassment and sexual assault and deviancy, that's the rest of the country. You couldn't be further from the truth. Hollywood is the least like the rest of the country. This is the most out-of-touch community on the planet. On the freaking planet. Louis C.K., 3 American presidents, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, long-standing accusations of rape, and, of course, current U.S. President. What? He didn't sexually harass anyone. No woman came forward and accused him of anything. None. It took the DMC searching for a bunch of women who like a week before, a month before the election, saying he was inappropriate in some way with me, and they never named how, and they never did anything about it. These were people who were paid off, okay? These people were paid off, just like Hillary Clinton paid to have that dossier made about him supposedly being in Russia and having golden shower sessions with Russian prostitutes. Nonsense. Countless Canadian harassers. Who? Name them. Countless. Countless. I love how they use these words. Name them. Oh, I can't. There's too many. What? Well, you could name 2, 3. Where are they? Rampant in the RCMP, endemic in the Canadian military. This is just critical theory. You're just presenting these criticisms. You're making these blanket statements, and you're not providing arguments or contextual information or any information. Oh, I see. They were trying to make it. So in the beginning of this story, the whole entire attempt to try and make men's concerns about approaching women look ridiculous was to try and make it really look like women are not overly sensitive, okay? Men are overly concerned that women are too sensitive about being harassed. So all these concerns men have are totally bogus. And that beginning was to try and bolster these later claims about how all these women are being harassed. And oh no, women are not overly sensitive about how they're approached and treated by men. And oh no, women don't falsely label things harassment that are not harassment. Oh no, that's just a myth that men are spreading. I see. Very clever, but you fail. I caught it, you scumbag Canadians, you Canadian feminist scum. I was wondering why 2 things that seemed so totally unrelated were thrown together in this article. The well-respected Neiman report, an industry news source, just released a report saying the issue facing journalism is not simply about preventing sexual assault. It's about also acknowledging that this behavior is often a part of sexist and unequal work environment. Issue facing journalism. It's like that's one of the smallest industries in America, if not the smallest. Somebody name me an industry that is smaller than journalism, that is more rarefied and has fewer people working in it. I mean, that is one small industry, which is, by the way, why it's one of the worst subjects to study in university. Okay? So, oh, geez, journalism and the media in Hollywood has a sexual harassment problem. Again, actors making $20 million a year and journalists. You know how few people are actually in this industry? Who gives a shit? Who are you people? You're some of the most privileged people on earth, whining and complaining that you had to do something at some time you didn't want to do to get ahead. Ooh, and now you're making tens of millions of dollars. Well, boo-dee-dee-dee, hoo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, I feel real sorry for you. Goes on to say the report quoted the Guardian, another feminist rag, columnist Jessica Valenti, author of Sex Object. You gotta love how so many of these women make their livings off of feminism. What a bunch of losers. A memoir of sexism and politicians and others further down the food chain now being accused. Maybe you can't get accused. Oh, well, automatically, if you're accused, you're guilty. Yeah, I can think of a lot of people who in history were accused of something and they didn't actually do it. And it's very interesting that whatever happened to those 4 women, or those handful of women that appeared and accused Donald Trump of inappropriate conduct like a month before the election. Has anybody heard of them? Have they done anything? Have they pressed any criminal charges? Have they actually done a thing since then? No? Well, geez, you'd think if he was guilty of something, they would have went to the cops at that point or filed some kind of suit. Could it be it was just made up crap because they were paid off? Yeah, oh, no, that never happens. No, of course not. Goes on to say, maybe you can't get this total asshole out of your office, but you can get the total asshole out of your office. Okay. This is all generalities and just rhetorical nonsense. So are all men guilty? I love it. So it's trying to mirror what was said in the beginning, but it's not ridiculous here. Oh, no. So it's not the case here. It's not the case. So yeah, I see. So at the beginning, they were talking about men and how men, essentially, it's absurd and ridiculous. So they should be afraid of all women and then trying to counter it with this. So Should women be afraid of all men? Yeah, okay. So are all men guilty? Are you that guy? Should all men be very afraid of either being exposed, or you now, or have you ever been a sexual harasser, or of making one wrong move? Huh? Are you now, or have you ever been a sexual harasser, or of making one wrong move? Yeah, this writing is terrible. Women can't write worse shit in most cases. Of course not. There are a multitude of good men out there who have never harassed anyone. Yeah, the good white knight mangina pinheads. They've never gotten laid either. And not all of these incidents are equal. We've seen everything from furtive bottom squeeze to a vicious rape. What? Where have you seen a rape? I've never seen an actual rape. You've seen rape? Really? Really? Where? Where? At the local rape theater? What the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? What is it for furtive bottom squeeze? Oh, bottom squeeze. Oh, well, that's evil. Vicious rape included in these accusations. Oh, accusations. Oh, well, who cares? I don't care about accusations. Women lie a lot for masturbating in front of women colleagues. Who? Where? This is just nonsensical rhetoric. Where has this happened? Who did that? What are you talking about? Up to sabotaging their dignity by verbally sexualizing. This is just all verbal diarrhea. It's just rhetorical nonsense. It doesn't mean anything. Yes, it's mystifying even after decades of consciousness raising and specific workplace programs. You mean indoctrination? Men can still claim to not know the difference between what's appropriate and what's harassment. And how dare these men think that women have some kind of overly sensitive natures that makes it impossible to approach them without fear of some kind of legal ramification. How dare us men be so foolish to think that about women? That they are so irrational. Yeah. One senior executive recently said to me, it's hugging a colleague, male or female, acceptable. There's so many physical actions, touching someone's arm, hand, that could be considered inappropriate. Wait, what? Well, wait, what? Well, now you're contradicting yourself. First, you said there's no reason for men to be afraid. Their concerns are absurd. And now you're saying that a simple hug or pat in the arm is easily misconstrued as inappropriate. You're contradicting yourself. I get that. I've often wondered why, for instance, avowed feminist PM Justin Trudeau, avowed feminist, this guy was a ski instructor. How did he even get elected as prime minister? Could somebody please tell me that? Could somebody please tell me? I mean, talk about a total loser. Oh, his daddy was prime minister before him. I see, and like every stupid Westerner for the past 1,000 years that love the idea of monarchies, well, let's just make the bumbling idiot's son president, prime minister, whatever, and he'll do just as good a job as the daddy. Unfortunately, when you get a daddy who can't even do a good job and you expect the son to do better, yeah, good luck with that. Kisses the woman he interacts with, including his cabinet ministers, but not the men. Has he asked these women whether they might just prefer to shake his hand? Now they're accusing Justin Trudeau of possible inappropriate conduct. Oh, but he's one of theirs, so they're not going to indict him for kissing the women in his cabinet. But Donald Trump makes a joke, and suddenly he's the worst man on earth. A joke, words, not actions, words. He is some kind of horrible man. But Justin Trudeau, you know, he's locking lips with babes in his cabinet. Oh, well, it's a gray area. I gotta love the hypocrisy. Has he asked these women whether or not they might prefer to shake his hand? Yeah, so even Justin Trudeau is a scumbag. So she's even alluding to what she really believes, that all men are like that. All men are scum. Yes. Good Lord. This article is starting to really grate on my nerves when it comes to hardcore sexual harassment. Which is what exactly? You want to define that? Because when it's coming from the left, you never know what the hell they mean, let alone assault. Men just no. They just no. What does this have to do, by the way, with your start of the article saying that men being afraid to approach women is ridiculous? Huh? What does that have to do with that? Oh, I forgot. That was just your attempt to try and make women look like they're very rational beings, and they're not overly sensitive, and they don't take things that are not harassment as harassment, and men shouldn't worry about anything. Meanwhile, there's laws on the book that say if a woman considers you talking to her to be harassment, she can get you arrested or have a fine levied against you. Oh, but women are not unreasonable. No, of course not. Believe me, they know that it's outside the frame of civil or legal behavior. Yeah, we're just evil scum with all the licensing agency you could possibly imagine. We're well aware of the evil, and we do it anyway. They want to harass anyway. They think they can get away with it. What do you mean they? All men, of course. But wait a second. Let's go back here. Didn't she just say, of course not, there are a multitude of good men. And then, just a couple paragraphs later, they want to harass. They, meaning men, meaning plural, meaning all men. It's very interesting how these people contradict themselves, and they think that we men reading this won't pick up on that. Well, I guess they figure only Canadians read this newspaper, and I guess that's all they care about because they are in Canada. They're not living anywhere else. They don't care what Americans think or anybody else thinks. Of course, most of the Western world is indoctrinated into feminism anyway. As ABC reporter broadcaster Anna Maria Tremonti, host of The Current, started on the air this week to a senior female military officer. Senior female military officer. Give me a break. Who tried to argue that men in the armed forces still may not be aware of inappropriate behavior. Well, what the hell are women doing there in the first place? The military is for men, not for women. Get the hell out. Why? They're highly skilled men, Tremonti said. They're not 12. Because they're in an all-male environment. And this woman is in an environment she doesn't belong, okay? So she might interpret some of their behavior to be sexually harassing. Ay, ay, ay. Yet men in all industries continue to be treated as adolescent boys. Really? Where? When? What are you talking about? All industries? What industries? All? How? That's a very a loaded statement, and it's a blanket statement. You're not being specific. Of course not. It's critical theory from the Frankfurt School. Of course, you're not going to get into specifics. You're just going to make these criticisms. This senior military officer, Rear Admiral Jennifer Bennett, oh God, a female admiral, tasked with overseeing the implementation of anti-harassment policies. Oh yeah, there's a real important job. Get the women out of the military and you won't have any need for that job to begin with. Talked of immaturity and groupthink among the men. Among the men? Bitch, please. Groupthink among the men. Isn't that ironic? This is infuriating. Oh yeah, it's so infuriating. Boo-hoo. This article's all over the place. I don't even know what the point is anymore. What was the point of this article to begin with? I don't get it. What was the point? Is the point? I don't get it. Where's the point? Women entering the workforce have had to grow up quickly. Quickly grow up, grow a pair. As they say, toughen their skins. What are you talking about? Toughen their skins. They're running about whining and moaning about the tiniest little microaggressions, rape gays. Talking to me is harassing me. Don't look at me. I mean, come on. Really? Toughen up? Thick skins? I don't think so. And navigate all sorts of hard-nosed professional environments. You don't hear immaturity and groupthink applied to them. What? What are you talking about? Yeah, you do. Who are you talking about? Oh, what are you... Talk about trying to alter and change the narrative from what the actual reality is. So men, do grow up and don't... We need to grow up. I see. Talk about a condescending bitch. So men, do grow up and don't cancel the office party. Oh, so now she's trying to use a summation, tying the introduction and the summation together somehow to try and make the whole piece seem like some kind of well-coordinated, progressive piece of writing. No, it's a piece of shit. So men, do grow up and don't cancel the office party and don't shy away from professional relationships with women. What? What? You just spent this whole article complaining and moaning and bitching and moaning about how much women are harassed, when the majority of the time they're not harassed at all. And then you even said in the article that a touch on the arm, a simple hug, a pat on the shoulder will be considered sexual harassment. But, oh no, don't shy away from professional relationships with women. Don't shy away from relationships that could leave you in a precarious position. Be warm. Be respectful. Why? You don't deserve my respect. Earn it, bitch. Smart, funny, and simple. I love when women tell me how I need to be. Okay, cunt, you listen to me. Nobody's going to tell me how I need to fucking be. I'm going to tell myself how to be. You're not going to tell me I need to be respectful and smart. Bitch, I'm already smart. Why don't you go read a fucking book instead of your little fucking Cosmo or your Bold or whatever piece of shit feminist rag like The Guardian that you're reading that you think is somehow educating you. You pinhead moron, you. Tell me to be respectful and smart and funny. Fuck you. What do you... Oh, well, of course, because my job in life is to entertain you. I need to entertain you, bitch. I need to be smart and funny and respectful and warm to entertain and make you happy. Well, fuck you. If you have doubts about your behavior, ask them. What? What do you mean doubts about my behavior? Surely the answer is not to avoid women. Yeah, it is, bitch, but to treat them as you expect to be treated. Maybe I'd like some broad to grab my ass, okay, and plan a hot kiss on me. You know, what are you doing? Treat them as you expect to be treated. Bitch, you don't want to be treated the way I expect to be treated, okay? You couldn't handle it, all right? I expect the world to be tough. I expect the world to be mean and cruel and disrespectful and not so fucking smart because you're a fucking moron. Jesus Christ, I love how this woman tells the world to be smart and respectful and funny. Meanwhile, she's a fucking moron who has no respect for men, has made it very clear she thinks all men are scum, and she is in no way humorous or civil. Fuck you. Sit on it and spin, bitch. Like a competent adult doing a job. And as recent weeks have shown, if you find that difficult, it's all on you. Your days are truly numbered. This is what women have become, men. Total cunts who think they know what it means to be a man. Bitch spent this whole fucking article building this bullshit straw man argument of how evil and horrible men are. Meanwhile, tacitly admitting that women are overly sensitive and will take the smallest little gesture as sexual assault or sexual harassment. Oh, but you should still make the effort anyway, even though you might get in trouble and possibly fired and have your life ruined and maybe go to jail or at the very least receive a fine or something. But hey, you should take the risk. Yeah, this is one of the worst articles I've ever read. Bitch that wrote this cannot write. And I love how Feminist, one guy, this is supposed to be all about Harvey Weinstein, but suddenly one guy becomes everybody. It's just like with the gun fanatics. One wacko goes out and shoots a bunch of people, and all of a sudden, all guns are a threat. Everybody's a threat. All guns are the problem. We need to ban guns. No, it was just one wacko. And when you have a free society, you're going to have wackos that do wacky things, and they're going to be free to do wacky things. That's just reality. And no amount of things you do to try and change that reality is going to change that reality. The only things that your actions are going to do is make it's going to make more people less safe. Oh, I've had enough of this article. Let me know what you think of this idiot broad. Yeah, should we men? Yeah, should we not be afraid to approach women? Should we not be cautious about the women who we do approach? I mean, I'm not really that cautious, to be honest. Maybe I should be more so. But then again, I don't live in the West anymore, so I don't need to worry about it. You guys out there that do, though, you need to worry. Big time. So please like, subscribe, and donate to my Patreon if you could. And maybe you want to let this dumb cunt know what you think of her. Maybe she's got a blog or a vlog or whatever the fuck somewhere, a Twitter page or something. Let's see who the writer was of this crap. Ah, yes, it was by a Judith Timpson. You gotta love the little effort there to, oh, you shouldn't be afraid to approach women. Sure, go ahead and approach women. Of course, they could find your approach to be harassment, but why don't you risk it anyway? I am the MGTOW philosopher, and I wish you a good day. And I will close with this horrific picture of Harvey Weinstein, who looks like Leatherface. And really, can you blame the guy? Can you really blame him? This article is nothing more than trying to shame men. I mean, look at him. He's hideous. Can you really blame this troll of a man for trying to use his power and his influence to get sex from hot chicks? Women are the ones who set the rules, and they're the ones that let you know you need to have money, moolah, if you want to get with me. And they even blow off hot guys because they think that's so wonderful. And, oh, my poon is so valuable. And anyway, I'm not having fun anymore. I've settled down now, and I'm not in my 20s anymore. So, you know, I'm not going to be with you. Or if you're in your 20s, if I value my poon too much, I'm not going to get with you. I don't want to be with you. But Harvey, he's got the dough. So he gets the poon. What's wrong with that? Let me know what's wrong with that in the comments, please. Take care, everybody.